Hello and welcome back again for Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishments. This year has been, for me, what I like to call the year of the crime, or crimes. It started way back when I played Yakuza, like a dragon. And in personal life, I have been reading Artemis Fowl books that are about a criminal mastermind. And now I have played other games. I have played Sleeping Dogs, for example, and I have also played Sam & Max series. I have to continue that in some point when I feel like. But now I want to finish this year of the crime, with a game, Sherlock Holmes game. And today's episode is the Abbey Grange affair. And I still don't understand why chat does that. It doesn't. It looks like it disconnects me from the chat. Now it works. It works. It disconnects me with the chat and then it welcomes me back to chat room. I have no idea why. But nevertheless, I'm sorry. That's my problem. Again. This day's case, the Abbey Grange affair. Let's begin.
The game is afoot. Not a word. Into your clothes and come. I'll wait for you in the sitting room. I've just received a note from Inspector Lestrade. A letter from the suburbs. He is in need of my presence. Whenever he has asked for my assistance, it has always turned out to be entirely justified. I fancy that every one of his cases has found its way into your collection.
Yes, they all seem worthy of...
However, I regret your fatal habit of looking at everything from the point of view of a story instead of a scientific exercise.
Oh, Holmes, you...
I beg your pardon, I digress. It would be much better to examine this letter than to try to convince you.
It's new case. And you know what that means? Look at the telescope. The lady is still there.
I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold...
The letter is on the table, Holmes. You should take a look.
Yes, but I am talking to the dog. How rude. I was talking to the dog.
A wax seal with the monogram E.B. I can tell from Lestrade's handwriting that he was in a hurry when he wrote this letter.
Wait.
A wax seal with the monogram E.B.
Probably initial letters that are... Aha.
The Brackenstall family coat of arms.
That's where B comes from. Abbey, Grange, Marsham, Kent. My dear Mr. Holmes, I shall be very glad of your immediate assistance in what promises to be a most remarkable case. It is something quite in your line. Except for releasing the lady, I will see that everything is kept exactly as I have found it. But I beg you not to lose an instant, as it is difficult to leave Sir Eustace there. Yours faithfully, Inspector Lestrade.
So, what is it, Holmes?
Promising, as always. It appears to be a case of murder.
So you believe that Sir Eustace is dead?
I should say so. Lestrade wouldn't have sent for me for less. His writing shows considerable agitation, and he is not an emotional man. These people belong to high society. The quality of the writing paper, the E.B. monogram, their coat of arms. The crime was committed before midnight.
Holmes, how can you possibly tell?
Well, it is all thanks to Lestrade. He wrote his letter at 3:30 in the morning. Imagine the chain of events before that. The local police had to be called in. Scotland Yard was notified. Lestrade himself had to make haste there, and finally compose the letter he sent to me. All of that makes for a fair night's work.
It makes sense. Lestrade also speaks of the woman he released.
That seems to indicate that she had been held somewhere during the crime. Much time has been wasted. Let us find a cab and go to Abbey Grange immediately. I live in hope of an interesting morning.
Ah, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson, here you are. I'm very glad that you have come, but perhaps I should not have troubled you after all.
And why is that?
Lady Brackenstall has come to her senses, and she has given so clear an account of the affair that there is not much left for us to do. You remember that Lewisham gang of burglars?
What, the three Randalls?
Exactly. The father and two sons. It's their work. They stole a silver service, which is of great value.
Sir Eustace Brackenstall is dead, then?
Yes. His head was knocked in with his own poker.
A violent act of aggression.
Yes, the poor lady. She has had a most dreadful experience. She was assaulted and tied to a chair. But I think that you would best see her and hear her account of the facts. She's in the morning room with her maid to raise a right.
Where is the body of the deceased?
In the dining room. We haven't touched anything.
All right, I'm going to examine it.
Very good, Watson.
I am trying to remember what was the case.
Lady Brackenstall awaits you in the morning room.
Got it.
Sir Warthen Brackenstall.
Can I check these?
Lord Ramsay Brackenstall.
I have a feeling this man loved himself very much. Wait. Never mind. It was a different man. They just looked very similar.
Lord George Brackenstall.
Lady?
Ladies, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Sherlock Holmes. I'm assisting Inspector Lestrade in this investigation.
Mr. Holmes, I am the wife of Sir Eustace Brackenstall. We were married only a year ago.
I am sorry for your loss. Please accept my deepest condolences.
I suppose that it is no use my attempting to conceal that our marriage has not been a happy one. I fear that all would tell you that, even if I were to attempt to deny it.
And the one what we do with every person. We investigate. Process. Pale 6. Australian origin. Elegant dress. Pants. Process. Not a happy marriage is a very big understatement. He deserved it.
You mentioned that your marriage was not a happy one. Was there anything specific that was troubling you?
He was not a nice man when he was drunk, and he suffered from dark moods, but nothing else.
Evidence. It seems to be a robbery which turns into a murder. Lady Brackenstall was assaulted and tied to a chair. Sir Eustace Brackenstall, which tried to resist his death. His head was knocked. At least 1 week old. So those bruises didn't come from the break-in.
The bruises on your hands are at least 1 week old. Your husband caused those bruises?
Oh, do you? Yes, he did. He was very angry at the time. Out of control. Again. Sir Eustace was a drunkard. To be tied to such a man for life is worse than death.
Can you describe to me the events of yesterday evening?
Is it really necessary? I have already told Inspector Lestrade all that happened.
Yes, madam, it is.
I will tell you then. Sir Eustace retired about 10:30. I sat in this room until after 11, absorbed in a book. Before I went upstairs, I entered the dining room to fetch a candle and... oh God.
Please, go on.
As I approached the French window, I found myself face to face with an elderly, broad-shouldered man who had just stepped into the room. Close behind the first man, I saw 2 others. One of them struck me a savage blow with his fist and felled me unconscious to the ground.
And then?
When I came to myself, I found that they had secured me tightly to a dining room chair. It was at that instant my unfortunate husband entered the room.
He fought with the intruders?
Yes, I think he had heard them, for he was holding his stick. But they were 3, and he eventually succumbed. One of them, the elder one, struck him a terrible blow with the poker. I fainted once more. When I opened my eyes, they had withdrawn. Then my brave Teresa came to my assistance.
Did these 3 villains steal anything?
Yes, I found that they had taken the silver from the sideboard, but you can see for yourself in the dining room.
Your ladyship?
Dog. There's a dog. Can I... Yes.
Teresa, I would like to hear your testimony.
Certainly, sir.
Ankles. She hasn't slept much. Probably. And then... Hands are always important. Caring. Coffee stain. There. Then... Where is the last one? No? Where? No, I'm not gonna skip. Aha! Working hands.
As I sat by my bedroom window, I saw 3 men in the moonlight down by the lodge gate. But I thought nothing of it at the time. Oh, if I'd known.
And then?
I went to bed, and it was more than an hour after that I heard my mistress scream. And down I ran, to find her tied to the chair and him on the floor with his head smashed. That's all I know.
Okay, I have interrogated the witnesses. Picture.
These scratches are most definitely made by the picture frame.
A safe.
This is Sir Eustace's safe. There may be something important inside. I must ask Lady Brackenstall to open it.
What case was this? This game has that time of effect that I am thinking, what case was this? What case was this? Because I remember the Black Peach case faintly. And then the disappearing terrain. I think I also had that. I have 3 books of Sherlock Holmes and Hound of Baskerville.
Lady Brackenstall, could you open this wall safe?
No, it is my husband's safe. I do not know the combination.
We have to open it.
So he didn't
Your
trust
ladyship?
her. That is kind of very dangerous. If you are the only... Well, not dangerous. Don't listen to me. I am idiot. Don't ever listen what I say. Family business booming. The Randall gang is back on the streets. Less than a fortnight ago, this infamous family of burglars, the Randalls as they are known, made their appearance by way of brutal but successful intrusions into one of the wealthier homes in Sydenham. The police are already on their trail. However, the details of the crime are being kept confidential, including that of the name of the victim. A witness was able to provide a precise description of all 3 men, and this will surely give the police a chance to complete their profile on this family of delinquents. We would take the liberty of reminding our esteemed readers about this highly dangerous band, and to provide the full description as it is available at this moment. The gang has been in business for some considerable time, being a family of three, father and his two sons. The elder, Jack Randall, is a man in his 40s and already grey-haired, while of average height and build. Being the mastermind behind the burglaries, he retained control over his sons, both of whom are close in age, but very different in appearance. The first son, William Randall, is tall and broad-shouldered, with a small, disproportionate head. The younger brother, Melvin Randall, is of a somewhat weaker constitution, as is as skinny as a rake. The gang is wanted not only for their frequent thefts and break-ins, but for exceptionally brutal pirate career they enjoyed before returning to England. Be alert, and may your valuables stay safe.
The description of the Randall gang provided by Lady Brackenstall is identical to the one in the Times article.
And as a well-known the testimonies only match and point to the Randall gang. With the testimonies it fits. Eek!
You should examine the body of Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
This was supposed to be a nice, cozy detective game. I didn't expect a horror game. Why? Why are you doing this? It says there is something to look. Aha. Mantelpiece.
It appears that the bell rope was cut by someone taller than me. A fur trader's cabin. So, Watson, what have you learned from examining Sir Eustace's body?
Well, I can confirm that the death was instant. Sir Eustace was facing his attacker when he received the blow to his head. There are no other apparent injuries.
Yes, he was facing the attacker.
The head was cracked with the force of the blow. That must be the murder weapon. Barefoot, he had therefore been in bed and did not have time to fully dress.
If I'm honest, who has time to dress up when they are being burgled?
Quite a large stick, a formidable weapon.
It has a pointy head.
It is covered in blood. Sir Eustace might have struck his head upon it while falling from the blow. That is one possible explanation.
Paint poker. The death of Sir Eustace could have been due to a poker blow. Death of Sir Eustace could have been due to his accidentally striking his head on a fireplace grate. It is possible either way.
That must be the murder weapon.
Can I... There doesn't look like there's any blood on the poker.
A decanter standing next to the open bottle. An inseparable pair indeed. Chateau Calon Ségur, French wine, Grand Cru. This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. There is beeswing at the bottom, as if the wine had not been decanted before being poured.
We need someone expert on wine, please.
This glass has some wine traces, but no visible beeswing. It is rather strange that only one of these glasses has dregs of beeswing inside it, while the other two are clear.
And this was where the wife was roped.
Sailor's knots. That's interesting. This rope was handled by the murderers. We need a scent hound to follow their trail. I will take it with me.
Actually, I think we have a sort of hound.
This is the chair that Lady Brackenstall was tied to.
I think he is a hound. Oh, this hurts.
These wine bottles are expensive and
This
mostly
hurts.
from France.
I don't know why, but this always hurts me. To see beautiful, almost anything broken, it hurts.
An empty silverware box. It appears that the intruders have stolen the contents. This candlestick is valuable. It is interesting that it was not also stolen.
There is so much valuable and they didn't steal everything. These are very bad burglars. Or they have other interests. It says there's something else. Ah,
A bottle of wine is missing here. The criminals did not thoroughly ransack the house.
yes.
They only took a little silverware.
Usually when there is wine bottles, well, they at least took one. No, the one bottle is on the table there.
This door leads to the upstairs bedrooms. Apparently the criminals did not venture there.
No, not that
The
picture.
hunting scene.
There's something seen.
A deer hunt. A fur trader's cabin.
The death was instant.
The hunting scene.
Oh, that was just light. Invest murder at the Abbey Grange is the room where Lady Plum is resting. Yes, collect Toby from Baker Street. So it is investigate the room where Lady is.
I've searched outside for footprints without any luck.
Let us try to open this safe. This
Okay.
safe can be cracked. I only have to pay attention. The dial will vibrate when it is set to the correct number.
Help. Now I got it. Hehehe. Sir Eustace, your current physical and mental state is of great concern. There are several signs of hepatic decompensation. The last time that we met, your eyes were bloodshot and your skin was tinged with yellow. There is a particular odor from your breath that is common in those suffering from liver damage. Then there are the lungs abscesses that we have discussed. The leg cramps you have described to me are caused by unalteration to the nervous system, which in turn is caused by an excess of alcohol. That includes the tremors. Your liver seemed excessively hard at the time of your examination, which is a sign of evolving cirrhosis. There are also signs of ascites, fluid in the peritoneal cavity, which are evident with your swollen stomach. The pain beneath your left rib indicates a pancreatic malady, which may lead to fatal and fulminant pancreatitis. Your condition may pose a risk to others. Your excessive alcohol consumption lowers your self-control and heightens your aggression. I am available to help you with this problem. There are a number of treatment options.
It is common practice to keep one's valuables in a safe behind a painting. It should not really pose a challenge for a criminal. Antique coins, possibly of value, but they're scattered without care.
Do you have new evidence?
There are 3 glasses on the dining room table. I was wondering if...
Oh, I forgot. When I came to myself the first time, each of them had a glass in his hand. They might have been a father and his 2 sons. They talked together in whispers, and then they left.
Your ladyship? Sir Eustace's doctor speaks of his violent behaviour.
Yes, Sir Eustace was an extremely violent man. A detestable human being, to be more precise. It is true that he once threw a decanter at me, and all because I dared to stand up to him in defence of my mistress. Sly devil. God forgive me that I should speak of him so now that he's dead, but a devil he was, if ever one walked the earth. We met him only 18 months ago. She'd only just arrived in London. Yes, it was her first voyage. She'd never been from home before. Wonder with his title and his money and his false London ways. If she made a mistake, she has paid for it, if ever a woman did. She doesn't have any friends here, so it was specially hard for her.
Two glasses. The peace win. There were 3 people drinking wine out of these glasses. One of the 3 prefers wine with the peace win. There were 2 people drinking wine out of these glasses. The remaining glass with the peace win consisted solely of the dregs from the other 2 glasses. That one was. Apparently there is something else. Oh, there was still something.
This photograph of Lady Brackenstall and her maid Teresa was taken at a port, but which one?
Gibraltar, Adeline, 1893.
So the lady and her maid came from Australia a year and a half ago on this ship.
And I just casually take the picture. Lady Brackenstall married Sir Eustace shortly after arriving in England, and remained at home during that time. There is little possibility that she or her maid are acquainted with anyone in the country. Lady is acquainted with someone from the Rock of Gibraltar. Nope. We need to get Toby. Toby, where are you? There you are.
Come on, Toby. We need the best nose in the British Empire on this case. I agree with you, Toby, that Watson's shoe is preferable to Mrs. Hudson's cold cuts.
Oh! Toby is with us. Why music changed?
search, Toby.
Ah, we are playing as the dog. Ah, this is the best game ever. 10 out of 10. Oh, he has short legs. He can run very well. Or very fast.
The intruders entered the shed for some reason when they were making off with the silverware.
Maybe hide it, but that doesn't actually make sense.
The scent leads to the well. I should check it.
Greenhouse, the well, and wall.
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. The criminals left the house through the French window. They walked to the shed, then across to the well, before
Shed,
fleeing
not
by
greenhouse.
climbing over the wall. I wonder why they chose such a winding route.
I am guessing now my English is actually dying. It's like running at zigzag. So anyone who is tailing them gets lost. But that will actually mean they are actually kind of smart criminals. And these are not smart criminals.
Bags of seed.
I
Some
think.
empty bags were recently moved. Small gardening tools, nothing of great interest.
Hook.
This hook might be useful. This old suitcase sounds hollow. It must be empty.
Then next up was the whale. Well.
There's something glittering at the bottom there, but how can I reach it?
Silverware.
Silverware. This is hardly a coincidence. The Brackenstall coat of arms. It appears that we have found the stolen silverware.
Robbery is the motive. Please confirmed as the motive for the crime. The criminals may have plans to return for the silver that they dumped. Could have been imitated to explain Sir Eustace's death. The silverware was not supposed to be found.
The intruder's trail is lost behind this wall. Brave Toby, the best nose in the British Empire.
He's a good boy. I have found the silverware, so I can talk to the ladies again. See if they say anything else. Hello, Lestrade.
Inspector, I have recovered the stolen silverware.
You are a wizard, Mr. Holmes. And where is it?
In the garden well.
Excuse me?
Unique, isn't it?
Rather absurd. What is the point of stealing silverware and then throwing it down into a well?
Perhaps it was used as a temporary hiding place, or simply the thieves wanted to get rid of it. It is up to us to solve this mystery. What do you know about Sir Eustace, Inspector? What was his reputation?
A charming man when sober, but an absolute demon when he was drunk. In such moments he was apparently capable of anything. Why, once he splashed fuel on Lady Brackenstall's dog and set it alight. Another day he threw a decanter of wine at Miss Wright's head.
The alcohol seemed to madden him.
To the point that we were forced to intervene several times to avoid a scandal.
I'm sorry, but he did what to the dog? He deserved everything. That monster. Sir Eustace was violent toward his wife. Sir Eustace was murdered by the one person who was visiting that night. It was he who tied up Lady Brackenstall. He is tall and strong. She was tied with sailor knots. And apparently she knows a sailor. Hydrate.
We found your silverware, Lady Brackenstall. It had not been taken very far.
Is that true? I am very thankful to you, Mr. Holmes.
Your ladyship? We found your mistress's silverware.
Oh, that's good news. You really are as clever as they say.
Indeed.
Indeed. Oh, analysis. No, not that. Eiköstelit. We need to do science. science.
Let us see how the rope was cut. The fibers at the end of the rope are smoothly cut. Let
So
us try
it
to
was
find
sharp
out
tool.
what tool was used to cut the rope. The fibers from this cut appear to be different. If I cut the rope with a knife, it matches the original.
The rope was cut once with a sharp knife and tied quickly in sailor's knots. That could indicate that the intruder had a sailor's background. The person who was visiting that night was probably a sailor. Look for sailor. Possible sailor subjects. Oh yeah, I have letters. A colossal scandal in high society. The well-known and remarkable archaeologist, the pride of our nation, Sir Rodney Pentcliffe, has been found murdered. The crime took place at the Roman Baths in Strand Lane, the location of the archaeologist's most recent research. But what is most truly shocking is that the murder of Sir Rodney was at the hand of his former friend and partner, Percival Blinkhorn. The death sentence is the only possible punishment for this breed of villain. That was the previous. And the free. Arrival of the Rock of Gibraltar, a ship returned. The Rock of Gibraltar, a bulk carrier from the Adeline Southampton-London line, Cunard Building, James Street, London, has returned from a 6-month voyage through India, New Zealand and Australia. The ship brought to England Miss Mary Fraser, the heiress of the Fraser family, owning land and tin mines in Australia. This reportedly beautiful young lady is presently engaged to Sir Eustace Brackenstall, one of the wealthiest gentlemen in Kent.
Here it is. The shipping company, the Adelaide Southampton London line, and its address. Interesting. It must be the place where they keep the records, including the one for the crew of the Rock of Gibraltar.
I think that if you pretend you're from Scotland Yard, they'll give it to you without any problems.
But I have another solution. I'll call in the specialist.
The specialist? Aha, Vikings. Of course.
Wiggins, could you come upstairs, please?
At your service, Mr. Holmes.
I need a register, my young friend. If you could borrow it, there will be half a guinea for every one of you. I need the crew list of the Rock of Gibraltar in 1893 and their current employment.
I'm straight on it, Mr. Holmes.
Do you really think they'll find it, Holmes?
My secret police is better than the Yard in many ways.
Here it is, Mr. Holmes. But we can't take it back. It's too risky.
Put it on the table. I'll take care of it. Good work, young Wiggins. This list shows the senior officers of the Rock of Gibraltar, on which Lady Brackenstall and her maid made their voyage. Lady Brackenstall does not know anyone in England. This must mean that someone on this list is our mysterious visitor. And these are the lists of the senior officers of the Adelaide, Southampton, London Line ships. Let us find out who was in London upon November the 7th.
November the 7th. Nathan Jacobs. 8C. Kunianne. Ernest J. Woody.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Henry Southward.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
James Talot. Aha! I'm departure from London, November 10th.
Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
Chalmers, Peter Dunson, no, George Stewart, no, Frank, what? No. 7th of November. Yep.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
James Talcott. No, this was the first. Seventeenth of October.
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime.
Some puzzle, have it be Tyler. Herbert Hawkins, no.
This officer was on a ship that sailed half a month ago. He wasn't in London at the time of the crime. Mr. Jack Crocker was in London upon the date of the crime, and he is due to depart in 2 days.
Aha. Walker and Whittington.
This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved. This officer is still at sea, therefore he cannot be involved.
Jack Crocker.
Captain Jack Crocker is our mysterious visitor. He was the only one around at the time of the murder.
Call Crocker to confront him.
This Crocker, do you think...
It would be interesting to meet him. Our young friend should be able to find him. Wiggins, could you find a way to bring this Captain Crocker here to us?
Here? Holmes, that could be dangerous.
No problem, Mr. Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, I was informed that you were looking for me, and I'd like to know why.
Yes, it is important that we talk. You will soon understand why.
And like always, we scan. Strong build, of course, he is a sailor. Newspaper ink. Clean boots. He has a knife.
You are acquainted with Lady Mary Brackenstall, are you not?
Yes, I think I do remember her from when I was first officer, but I still don't see...
It seems your relationship went beyond that of mere passenger and first officer.
How dare you?
Indeed, how reckless a feeling is love, particularly if one is prepared to commit a murder in its name.
Explain yourself this instant.
You are aware that the murder made the headlines of the morning press. You read the newspaper report, but to your dismay, found it much fabricated. Once you learned that I wanted to see you, you came straight away. You needed to know what I had found.
You... and what do you know?
That evening, you were with Lady Brackenstall, despite the danger.
I'm not afraid, Mr. Holmes. Besides, all of this is just guesswork.
You would be right if there was no evidence.
What then?
Lady Brackenstall was tied to a chair on the night of the murder. And it was you who tied her up.
You call that evidence?
What we know. Silverware was not stolen. Rope was tied with sailor knots. Hmm.
Yes, as she was tied with a sailor's knot. Your handiwork.
So, it's a sailor who's done it. That proves nothing, Mr. Holmes. I'm not the only sailor in London right now. Your theory is flawed anyway. On the night of the murder, I was aboard the Sharp. I was supervising the repair of a porthole.
At night.
It was an emergency. There was a leak. You can ask the ship's carpenter. He can confirm.
I'm sure that he can.
Perfect. In that case, we have nothing more to talk about. Good evening, gentlemen.
Holmes, what should we do now? Would you like to check his alibi?
No, there is no doubt that these men will testify in his favor, and there will be no way to check.
So, what then?
So, we must work with what we have. We have all the puzzle pieces.
Now I understand why you dissected the bell rope.
Clocker statement. Clocker is lying. His involvement is clear. He appeared as soon as he heard that I was looking for him, thus signaling his guilt. Captain Clocker was aboard the Sharp on the night of the murder. He was not afraid to confront me. He had confident demeanor. Captain is the killer. Sir Eustace was murdered by one person who was visiting that night. The murderer is tall and agile and a high-ranking sailor. Jack Clocker is a murderer, and you will bring him and his accomplice, Lady Blackenstal, to justice. The murder was committed in self-defense. Jack Clocker defended a woman against a violent and dipsomaniacal man. The mystery is solved, but you decide to keep it a secret. There is no need to inform the police. Oh boy. Moral choices. I don't like them. But I think this was a very short episode. He wasn't a very nice man, but it was still a murder.
Wiggins, could you ask Mr. Crocker to come here again, please?
Right away.
Why did you make me come here again, Mr. Holmes?
It is over. I know that it was you who killed Sir Eustace Brackenstall.
What?
I know, because of the height at which the rope was cut. The knife used was a sea knife. The knots were sailor's knots, and not least the sheer force that was put behind the killing blow. And because you are the only one who knows Lady Mary Brackenstall in London. And because you love her.
It's true.
It is time for you to tell us the whole truth.
I admit that I loved Mary madly from the first day that I met her. But I never did come to visit her, for I believed that she was in a happy household. When I talked to her maid, who told me everything, I was insane with rage. I was due to set sail for 6 months away. I wanted only to see her again. But it turned into a damnable nightmare when he barged in. He dared raise his hand to her. He was not even worthy of licking her boots. Oh, I regret nothing. I admit I killed the monster out of love for her. She will forgive me if she is able.
Lady Brackenstall already forgave you. She said nothing.
Mary.
But that makes her an accomplice as well as her maid. It places her in danger yet again.
Mr. Holmes.
You would not have managed to protect her.
Till I die, do you hear me? Here is a letter that sets everything clear, and it is the one that should be disclosed to the police. I am the only culprit. Mary had nothing to do with it. Now it is time to end this. You should have let me die. How can I live if Mary suffers?
I am sorry, Captain Crocker, but there has been quite enough death in this case.
That was second time.
Inspector, I give you Sir Eustace's killer. He tried his best to perform his own justice.
Well, I'm not surprised. Yes, it was me. I confess.
Here is a piece of evidence that can be used in court.
Perfect. A case that went smoothly for once.
That was second time that there was quick time event in the very end, and it changes. It probably changes the ending. Of course it changes. But this was a very short episode. Stream. Accept. Yes. Personality ranking neutral. Makes sense. Vox populi, vox dei. I am just checking the couple of people to raid.
Holmes, for heaven's sake, whatever's going on?
Oh, hello, Watson. You're early. Did you kill all of your patients?
What? Holmes, where have all these wretched bees come from?
I increased the temperature of the room so as to prevent them from hibernating. I needed to take a sample of honey. But it worked, Watson. We will have honey all year round.
Ridiculous and dangerous.
They're domestic bees, Apis mellifera, such industrious workers. Anyway, Watson, I am sorry, but I must leave you. I'm in rather a hurry.
You have a new case?
Yes, but nothing as thrilling as this experiment. A theft of plants at the Royal Botanic Gardens in Kew. I'm helping a minister who's an old friend of mine. You can join me if you like.
Well, I'll admit that I'd far rather accompany you than remain alone here with these workers of yours. Besides, you'll need a helping hand with the flowers you're intending to bring back.
Watson, however did you guess?
For the great Sherlock Holmes to bother with the theft of plants. Come on, admit that you're planning to spoil your little bees with some rare pollens.
Since when did I become so transparent? Let us go.
And that, I have to say, is the end for this stream. How do you... Hopefully there is... Yes, there is two. I will stop this stream here. Yes, if somebody is new here and thinks, but I have already streamed 1 hour. Why is that I ended this here? Because this game I will play 1 episode at a time. 1 case at a time. And then the next stream I am going to show the recap section, kind of starting the case from the very beginning to recap, that we can get the whole case in here. But thank you everybody for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this stream of Sherlock Holmes, Crimes and Punishment. And I will probably continue this on tomorrow with new case. Thank you everybody for watching, and see you again next time on same Venno channel. Bye bye.